The Dixon's Mostly Music podcast is brought to you by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor before, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Allow me to explain. Well, first of all, I literally wouldn't even be able to make this podcast because I'm on Anchor right now. It's totally free, and there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Are you worried about how you're going to get your podcast out there? Anchor's got you covered on that too, because it'll distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. If you want to make a little bit of money, you can make some money from your podcast too, and there's no minimum listenership with Anchor. It's everything you need to make a podcast made easy all in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, that's ANCHOR.FM, to get started today. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, lizards, wizards, otherwise, whoever is tuning in right now? This is the Dixon's Mostly Music podcast, episode number 2. Yep, it is the second episode, and we're dropping the deuce. This is the deuce, and that is my poop joke quota of the month, of the episode, I guess, but you know, the second episode, the deuce, the number 2, all that stuff, that only comes around. You only have one opportunity for it. So, carpe diem, or I guess carpe poopum. I don't know. All right, I'm done. We're already off to a rousing start, everybody. So, let's buckle in here. But yeah, the first one. The first episode that I released the other week, it got a lot more streams and downloads than I ever could have imagined it would, for basically just posting about it a couple times on Facebook, and like that's literally it. I didn't do any extra marketing, any of that stuff. So hey, you know, I'm sure it was mostly friends and family the first time, but hey, you know, we're all family. We're all friends here. So I appreciate it. So that's what it was. So much fun. We're gonna keep doing it until like the first day doesn't get any listens or anything, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I got a little bit of a new setup. Not a new setup, but I just added to the setup that I had. I already had an interface and a decent studio mic and recording software, all that good stuff. But I got a desktop mic stand for the studio mic. And if you didn't know, the first episode I was holding it in my hand the entire time I was recording the vocal tracks. So, and that's the reason why that there was that jazzy license-free stuff from Anchor going on in the background. Because as I was editing it, all I could hear was my hand readjusting on the mic and rustling around if it wasn't completely still. And it drove me nuts. So I just added the background music. That's a little behind the scenes little tidbit there already. So, but yeah, there is a lot popping off in the music world. In the sports world, especially with the NFL season starting, things like that. We will get into that a little bit further down the line in the episode here. But yeah, hopefully the mic stand got from got from Sweetwater. It was really cheap, but hopefully that will make the audio quality a little bit better, a little bit more balanced, because it's not going to be moving around the entire time. So hopefully that gives it a little bit of a better flow. And I can use hand gestures too, even though you can't see them. It helps me really emphasize the stuff that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, and as a little side note, the musical content of the show is going to change, just not much, but just a little bit. Just the way that I go about using the music will change, because when I put it in for when I put the first episode in for distribution, it kind of really killed the reach and everything, because I used the Spotify library feature on Anchor, which Anchor is an asset of Spotify's, so it makes sense. But I didn't know until after the fact that it wasn't even going to distribute the episode just with like 30-second previews or whatever. That's what I was unsure of the first time. But it just like didn't distribute to anywhere besides Spotify at all. So that totally killed the exposure. And not only is that bad for me, but it's bad for the little bit smaller bands and artists that I highlight on the show, because it doesn't reach as many people. But moving forward, like I said, I'm just going to be getting permission from the artists that I play and getting access to the files to be able to play with permission, without licensing, and be able to distribute it to a much wider audience, which will be good for everybody involved, in my opinion. So yeah, we'll do that. And that means also that I am going to need help building a library of playable songs for me. So if you want to, you can submit your song file and in a little statement of permission to DavidDixonCreative at gmail.com. Yeah, always looking for new submissions. Doesn't really matter what genre. Like I said, this is a big rock show, but it really doesn't matter what genre. I'll give anybody a chance. I'll give anybody a spin. It's going to be a big independent show moving forward, which, it probably should have been that way in the first place. So, but, caught it on the Deuce episode. So it's pretty early in the game still, so we can work with it. And I'll also be editing and posting the episodes on to be available for YouTube as well. I did that with the first episode to try to get around the licensing police a little bit from playing the things on Spotify, just so it was available at least one place that people that don't have Spotify could listen to it, could check it out if they wanted to. And they still got me. But, I understand. Coming from my standpoint, being a musician and a business person as well, I get it. I get it, but it makes content creation very difficult to get anything. But I mean, the penalty was that the episode just got demonetized, and you need I think 4,000 hours of listening and at least 1,000 subscribers or something before you can even start monetizing anyway on YouTube. So whatever, man. Even if everything does get demonetized on YouTube and stuff, that's not really what it's about. It's about creating something. I view this as a performance, really, if you could think about it that way, because my band and we probably personally won't be playing out, even though the world is kind of opening up again. We probably won't be playing out in the near future anyway. So this kind of is my outlet to create something, to give something for people to listen to. And we're working mostly on writing and recording right now. So there's going to be a lot to look forward to from the band, but at the same time, we're not going to be doing anything live, at least for the in the near future. So let's get right into things. So the other day I was on Snapchat, like the Snapchat story things. I've never really checked those out, but I guess they're like their answer to Instagram's like stories and reels and stuff like that. But one of them caught my attention, and it was about this basically unheard of band called MainMan, and it's all one word, MainMan, and looking on Spotify, they only have 1,500 listeners, which in the grand scheme of things isn't huge at all. They have a couple like 17,000, 20,000, and their most popular one is 406,000 streams. Just to give you an idea of about what their size is. So they're not tiny, but they haven't really, quote unquote, made a name for themselves yet, I guess. But so I was just intrigued by why is Snapchat doing a story on this? Well, apparently the bassist, shout out bassist worldwide, a fellow bassist of mine, is Chris Mintz-Plasse. That's the bassist of that band, and a lot of people might not even know who that is if I say his name, but for context, he started out as an actor, and his claim to fame was 2007 Superbad. It's McLovin, everybody. McLovin is a bassist in MainMan band. So he's been in a lot of other movies that have done very well. But he got really cast typed. I think that's how you say it. But he got Harry Pottered. Like Daniel Radcliffe has done a lot of other movies after and since, and like in between Harry Potter and stuff like that, but everybody knows him as Harry Potter. So everybody knows Chris Mintz-Plasse as McLovin, unfortunately. So that kind of was a career ruiner for him in a way. But yeah, they're a really sick indie band. I wish I could play a little bit of their stuff for you, but I didn't really. Like I said, we're not doing like the Spotify thing anymore because it kills distribution, which kills exposure. So, but they're a really cool indie rock band, but I couldn't get a hold of them because their last release was in 2018, and it looks like they haven't been active on social media since about 2019. And even their Instagram bio says BRB, which means be right back, if you didn't know. So I'm assuming they're like on some sort of a hiatus or something. So that's unfortunate, but what they have published is pretty good. Like, it's very catchy, and it's just really weird that I discovered this band through a Snapchat story. So yeah, just want to give them a little shout out. Want to give Chris Mintz-Plasse a shout out. You know, he's had a great acting career, but it's been kind of stunted by being typecasted. That's what, yeah. But yeah, he's in a pretty sick band that hopefully comes back from their apparent hiatus. So yeah, check out MainMan. I believe their socials are MainMan Band, but they're not active on them. But so yeah, definitely stream them on Spotify and Apple Music and all those other places. All right. Let's move on to talk about the music competition shows going on here. The two biggest ones, American Idol and The Voice, just commenced a couple weeks ago. They're both through the audition. Well, American Idol's through the audition portion of it, which is really the most interesting part of it in most people's opinions, I'm sure. But and then The Voice is almost done with their blind auditions, which is like their preliminary part, if you weren't aware. They've both fallen off in popularity, at least from what I've seen. Maybe just because it's a cable network thing. I happened to catch both of them on Hulu the next day. That might be affecting it a little bit, and the fact that American Idol historically has had a little bit a lesser pool of talent, I guess, than The Voice. The Voice seems to be a little bit more open as far as both age and genre and all those things. But yeah, this American the auditions were pretty good. There wasn't really any surprises that they picked for once, because usually there's a bunch of head scratchers there. There were a couple there that didn't really deserve to go through, but you could tell they put them through just because it's entertainment value, and that's showbiz, baby. So yeah, they'll probably go early as the show progresses a little bit more. Mostly pretty good level of talent there. There's two there American Idol is going for the young, super young people. Like their average age is probably like late teens, early 20s, I would say. Altogether, like the oldest one was probably like 26 or 27, and I think the age limit is 28. But with The Voice, you could be like, as long as you're like 15, I think you can be like any age after that. So like the average age of The Voice people that they've picked from the blind auditions so far is probably like in their 30s all to get like averaged with all the people that got picked. So for that reason, really, I like it, The Voice, a little bit more than American Idol, because it's more inclusive, I think. Like they're just trying to find the next pop star on American Idol, but they're actually going for singers on The Voice. So, but American Idol does have 3 Ohio people that went through, and they were all young, as far as I remember. 2 people from Cleveland. The one guy, I think he'll go really far. He's like an R&B type of guy. His name is DavidDixonCreative. I think he's like 19, if I remember correctly. But he had a very soulful, pretty voice, so I think that he'll go pretty far. I don't know if he'll win it, but I think he'll go at least pretty far. The other one from Cleveland and the Columbus person, they were both young, but I don't think they were as solid as Deshaun was. So look out for them if you're following American Idol. And but before we go on with that, why does every American Idol contestant have to be a sob story? I understand that they're trying to get you to connect with the potential artists that are going to go through, but I noticed on American Idol, I don't know if it's like this every year, because I honestly just now tuned into the season after years and years of not watching it. So it was just on a suggestions on my Hulu. So that's kind of intrigued me. But anyway, every single one was a sob story. Like even like the young kids that haven't lived life yet had a sob story for like somehow. Like there's this one girl that's the daughter of a political lawyer and somebody that served on the former president's cabinet, I guess as like their PR person or something. But anyway, she had a sob story because her life was just so tough because she wasn't understood, and her dad dealt with politicians, and her mom was in the cabinet of a president she didn't like, and she's 15 or 16 years old. So she didn't even vote him in, but they like had the whole thing. She's been under such trials and tribulations trying to find her own voice, but it's so hard when your mom works for somebody you don't like. Like they had to stretch that one really hard because she is living the life of Riley back home, because they're probably making a pretty good income between the husband and the wife there. So yeah, but they just have to make everything a horror story, and everybody's crying and all this stuff. But I noticed that The Voice doesn't do that as much. There's sob stories in The Voice as well, but I noticed there's a lot more happy things, like, yeah, this is my dream, da 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 da, not, oh, woe is me. I guess it's just the writers are different, obviously, different networks. They're trying to have a different feel, but yeah, I watched the auditions and I'm not overly impressed with American Idol, and I'm surprised that they're still on. Honestly, they're just going based off a name alone, I would think. But yeah, anyway, let's go on to The Voice. So far, I know that by the time this airs, there's going to be another episode or two. But so far, there is one person from Ohio from The Voice named Connor Christian, and he is in his 34, I think. Just there you go, 19 and 34. That's the age difference. But he is from Gallipolis, and I had no idea where that was, to be honest. I looked it up, and it's basically West Virginia. It's on the Ohio River. Basically, if you step foot in the Ohio River, you're in West Virginia. So he's the most rock oriented guy, which is awesome. So unfortunately, I don't think he's gonna go that far, but it'll be fun to root for him in the meantime, because that's the thing with The Voice, is there's no really genre specific. Like the first person that they chose was a 22-year-old country kid with a mullet, which probably wouldn't have even made it on to American Idol, just because they weren't, quote unquote, what they were looking for, because they look for like the pop, like singers and singer-songwriter type of people. That's about it. But yeah, The Voice is they're doing their thing with that. So I think The Voice is going to be more interesting just because of the setup of the show. But I think I'm pretty much done watching American Idol, because like I said, the auditions are the most interesting part of the entire show. So, and it's season 20 of The Voice, and they've been around for a lot less time than American Idol, and American Idol's on season 19, which is funny. Well, The Voice does two seasons a year, I guess. That's how they did their math on that. But so yeah, American Idol's been around for twice as long, but has half or the same amount of one less season technically, because they're on 19. But I hope that these singing competitions go into the future for till the end of time, I guess, because people don't realize how important music is to the industry, to everyday life, until it's going to be gone. So somebody's going to mess up and if they get rid of music or they don't push music, people aren't supportive of musicians' dreams and things like that. They're just not going to do it. And eventually the world might run out of music. So we got to push people's dreams. Got to support your friends who are musicians when you can. And yeah, that's my soapbox for that. But yeah, the biggest gripe, I guess you could say, I have with them, with The Voice and American Idol, is the judges are, I guess, they have to be forced because it's so grotesquely scripted. Like the little skits and stuff that they do in between as time fillers, I guess. But to make it family fun for the whole family, I guess. But it's just super lame. And I know that if it wasn't scripted, they probably wouldn't do the stupid stuff that they've been shown to do with the skits. But it's, again, they're just trying for entertainment value, but the people that are in it just for the vocals and the singing and getting the pointers and stuff from the judges and things like that, yeah, they could do without that for sure. They could get on like one or two more people just if they wanted to fill time. Just if they wanted to fill time, they could give more people chances so they had more content to do on a weekly basis. So they could just kind of forego those stupid skit things. But yeah, other than that, they're pretty fun. They're pretty entertaining to watch, even if you're not a musician. But it kind of makes it better if you are, because you can get pointers yourself from what they do and how they brand themselves and things like that. So it's really cool. The Dixon's Mostly Music podcast is fueled by RAZE Energy. RAZE Energy by Repp Sports is revolutionizing the energy and supplement industry with their refresh technology. That's focus, recovery, energy, stamina, and hydration. Not only is the refresh technology a complete game changer, but it also has zero sugar, 0 calories, and 0 crash guaranteed, all while still containing 300 milligrams of caffeine to give you that boost you really need. With the wide variety of flavor options ranging from simplistic all the way to industry first, there's never a bad option when you're looking for your perfect flavor. Whether you're a fitness buff, gamer, college student, stay-at-home parent, a musician and content creator like myself, or just anyone that requires a boost, you need to try RAZE Energy. And as a RAZE ambassador, I'm able to give you this exclusive deal of 4 cans of their top-selling flavors, samples of their top-selling supplements, and a $10 gift card for free. That's right, that's almost a $50 value, all for free as long as you pay shipping and handling. And if that wasn't enough, you can use this exclusive promo code made just for David Dixon Creative in this podcast, DDC15, that's all caps DDC15 at checkout, to take an additional 15% off of shipping. All you need to do is click the Repp Sports link in the episode description to get this insane deal today. And welcome back to the Dixon's Mostly Music podcast. I feel like a radio show host when I say "and welcome back," so I think I'll start saying "and welcome back" like that every time. So, yeah, this show's stupid. This show stinks. Yeah, so a little music block there for you. Like I said, we're going to be approaching music a little bit differently going forward on the podcast, so I need file submissions to DavidDixonCreative at gmail.com. The Spotify thing, like I said, is great, but going about it this way, getting permission and getting files of the songs is going to be a lot better to get a lot more ears on the show, which is not only good for me and my brand, but also better for all of the musicians that need the airtime and all the musicians that I choose to cover on the show. So, yeah, definitely, if you listening right now are in a band, or if you know someone in a band that would be interested in submitting, definitely get those over to DavidDixonCreative at gmail.com. But, yeah, the first band that was on there was Scarlet Serenity, and they are from, hey, we are an international podcast now, because they are from Alberta, Canada, Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, to be more precise, and they're a pretty sick metalcore band. There's nothing like, I have a soft spot for all the metalcore and stuff, so when it's done more, I guess you could say, like, I don't know, traditional metalcore. That seems kind of oxymoronic, but yeah, they do a great job of it. They don't have a lot published right now, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do and where they go from here. So they definitely need some support from all the listeners to continue to grow. So they are on, Scarlet Serenity is on Spotify, obviously, and I'm sure all the other listening platforms. And all of their social handles are Scarlet Serenity Official. And that is ScarletSerenity Official. So that's like their Instagram handle, their Facebook, all that good stuff. So definitely go check them out. Give them a like, interact with them, because, smaller bands can't do it on their own without support from more people. So, and that's basically the point of all bands, really. If there weren't fans to give our music to, then aside from doing it just because we like it, there would really be no point in publishing music and things like that. So definitely go check out Scarlet Serenity. They've been around for a few years at this point, but definitely they are trying to get something going, so we definitely need to support everybody here, especially in these times where I can't really play shows. That's really been a hindrance for a lot of bands and a lot of people. So, yeah, check out Scarlet Serenity. And the second one is I Am Abomination. They are extremely gnarly. They've been around for a while, but I added them because our producer for our band, Nick Sampson, is the brain behind I Am Abomination. He does all the engineering and all the really whirly gig noodly guitar parts that are face melting and insane. So the boy Nick Sampson, pretty gnar dude. Hope he's doing well. But yeah, go check out I Am Abomination, and they can be found on their socials with I Am Abomination Music. That's I Am ABOMINATION. I Am Abomination Music. So definitely go check them out. Give them a like. Give them a follow. They are... Well, Nick is just an insane guitar player, and as you could hear from the Lamb to the Slaughter was the name of that song. That was one of their singles before they released that album in 2020, and yeah, it's pretty sick. And that was actually the song that I used for my Spotify curation. I do a couple like independent unsigned rock Spotify playlists. They're not huge or anything, but exposure is exposure, and it's free marketing. So I do what I can to help out the independents. So, but that's Dixon's Discoveries rock and metal playlist. So yeah, you can submit on Spotify through that as well. That should be getting updated here pretty soon. That kind of went by the wayside with everything else, all the other obligations that I have going on right now, but that hopefully I have the update kind of ready. I just need to switch it over to the public playlist. So that's just about there. So if you're listening and you want to at least submit to Spotify, maybe, I don't know, do both. Give me the file and I can also put it on Spotify for you. All DavidDixonCreative at gmail.com. That's where all the submissions go. So, and also about Nick, he's been working with We Came as Romans for a while, from what I know. So this apparently has become a big We Came as Romans show, which it's whatever. They're sick, so they deserve the love. But they have been hard at work in the studio, and they seem to be getting close to more material, new material releases pretty soon here. So pretty stoked for that. Be on the lookout for that. But yeah, so let's get back to it. All right. It is that time again. It's that time of the show. It's Sports Talk! Yeah. A lot has popped off with the NFL, especially with the league season opening on St. Paddy's Day, March 17th. But before that, there was a legal tampering period where people were getting cut, getting signed. Everything was, just crazy there for a few days. Well, it started off a little while ago that Drew Brees finally announced his retirement. The writing was on the wall with that, but congratulations to him. He's most likely going to be a Hall of Famer, Super Bowl winner. I actually got to meet him back when I was probably like 11 or 12 years old, when he was still with the Chargers. And he was just a really cool dude, really nice dude. So yeah, happy for him. I wish he would have won another Super Bowl, but you can't have them all. But at least he won one. So, and he's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. So, not a bad career to end on. Speaking of Hall of Famers and all that stuff, Tom Brady, he left the Patriots, as most of us hopefully know that at least kind of follow NFL. So the Patriots kind of stunk this year. They didn't really know what to do, but when the free agency period hit, they did something that nobody expected them to do, and that was spend about $150 million in guaranteed money to bring on like basically an entirely new team. So the cap space, the cap limit that everybody was worried about it going down, it did go down, but not as much as people thought it was going to, I think. Because last year it was $192.3 million cap per team, and they lowered it to $182.5, so almost $10 million less, which to the average everyday person is a ton of money, but for an NFL team, that's not that bad, really. That's a couple people's contracts. That's a couple veterans contracts that they need to get rid of to clear that space. So it's not that big of a deal. Plus, they signed a media rights deal finally. I was under the impression the last episode that they got that deal done, but apparently they were still negotiating. So, but they got a media rights contract for all the major networks, Fox, like ESPN, NBC, all those things. An 11-year, $100 billion contract between all the networks. So, COVID or not, the NFL is going to be there for a long, long time. They're recession proof. It seems like, because everybody loves their football. But yeah, the Patriots, they went crazy. They re-signed Cam Newton, which he's kind of washed up, but he's probably was one of the best options available. So he stays in New England. They signed Matthew Judon, Devon Godchow, Jalen Mills, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. So the top two tight end free agents both go to the Patriots. Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, two solid receivers. Defensive lineman Henry Anderson, and Kyle Van Noy comes back to New England. See, the Dolphins were afraid that Kyle was going to drink all their monsters, so he went back home to New England to drink all their monsters. So, yeah, they went insane. Like, to put it in perspective for those that don't really follow the sports ball, the football and all that, they signed, like, other teams signed maybe like one or two people throughout this period this week, and the Patriots signed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, more than 11. So that's like one side of the team that they signed through free agency, and that's very rare. Not only for a team to do that in general, but very rare for the old school traditional style that Bill Belichick does. So that was a curveball that nobody ever could have expected. So, and it kind of, it's just so disheartening too that the Patriots are going to be good again. Like, it's great for the city, it's great for the fans, but they were good for 20 years. Like, let other people be good. It just gets annoying to see the same people win over and over. So Tom Brady wins over and over, but at least he did it with a different team, so that wasn't as bad, I guess. But still, yeah, they're going to be good again. Everybody thought it was going to be a rebuilding thing or anything like, but they just said, no, we were bad one year. We were subpar one year. That's not going to happen again. So they just went crazy in the free agency signings. So I don't know what their draft looks like, but I don't think they really need many more people because they got it done with all the veterans and stuff that they signed. So that's that's one way to do it, I guess. They say that teams that spend a lot of money don't win. They aren't successful for some reason. I guess it's just like a stigma or something, but we'll see once the 2021-22 season starts, if that is just a myth or if it actually is true. But they spent a lot of money and brought in a lot of good people, so it's kind of hard to doubt that they're going to be at least up there in the ranks this year again. So, but in other sports news, Blake Griffin just went to the Brooklyn Nets, who already has a stacked lineup, and they're 29-14 as of the recording of this episode. So they're like, they didn't need him to be good, but so looking up the roster here, when they're healthy, their starting lineup is Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, now Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. Like, that is an all-star lineup. Like, how did they get that done? Like, I'm not following, like I said, the NBA as much anymore, but how did they get that deal done? Doesn't look like, I mean, aside from Jeff Green, he's definitely a veteran, but from what I remember, he's pretty good. And Spencer Dinwiddie, he's been a long time Brooklyn Net as well. Dinwiddie has, but so like their top 7 people, which basically is the rotation anyway, unless there's a couple other good younger people that I'm not familiar with the names, but still, like, when they're fully healthy, bro, how would they be able to lose a game with that? Like, yeah, they're all a little bit older at this point in their career, but that doesn't really matter. If you're good, you're good. If you're an all-star on one team and then you're an aged veteran, but you still go to a team with other former all-stars and current all-stars, like, you're going to be good no matter what. I would imagine. Anyway, there's no way that... So it's going to be, I believe, Brooklyn. Well, obviously they're in the East, and then most likely Los Angeles if LeBron James stops whining about his ankle sprain and comes back in a couple games. That's probably what the finals are going to look like. That's my early Nostradamus prediction. But yeah, like I said, I don't even know when the playoffs are, man. I have no room to talk, but just from formerly heavily following the NBA, seeing those names all on the same team, that just seems like it's a cheat code for sure. Like, I don't see how they can't win with that roster. But yeah, I mean, besides the Cavaliers, for whatever reason, I've always liked Brooklyn. I think it's because of like their court and like the plain but cool uniforms and stuff that they have. And I liked them back even when they were terrible. When I went to New York a little. I used to go to New York every once in a while, like probably once a year actually, like a yearly vacation type of thing. And we always went to Brooklyn, and it's just a really cool city. And we saw the Barclays Center, which is the Brooklyn Nets home court. So that was really cool. So that's I've always kind of liked them. They were always like my second team, even when they were bad. But now they're good. So that's just how tides turn like that. Teams that were once good are now bad, and teams that were once bad are now good. That's just the balance of the sports leagues, basically, because they give them like the higher picks, and usually the bad teams have a lot more cap room and all that stuff. So, but yeah, they seem to be like a force to be reckoned with. Still probably not going to follow the NBA much, but yeah. That was pretty insane news when I saw that come across my ticker on my phone. But yeah, dude, crazy stuff. Keeping in the same lane as basketball, March Madness started. Go Oral Bobs. Go Oral Bobs, go. They were the 15 seed going up against the number 2 seed Ohio State. Go Bucks, OHIO, all that good stuff. They lost. The Bucks, the number 2 seed, lost to the number 15 seed Oral Bobs. Good old Oral Bobs. And then again, at the time of the recording of this episode, they also beat the Florida Gators in the next round. So they're the Cinderella team, unfortunately, to the demise of my home state big college, as well as former multi-time national champion in men's college basketball, Florida Gators. So I don't know how much longer they're going to make it, but there's always a Cinderella team every single March Madness. Well, besides last year, because we didn't have a March Madness, but that aside, yeah, it's always the tiny school or the team that nobody ever knew anything about, and they always end up making it to like the Elite Eight or the Final Four. It happens every year, so we should have. Everybody tries to call who the Cinderella is going to be, and then it always ends up being the person they don't think it's going to be. I think that's one of the only times, if not the only time, at least in recent history, that low of a seed beat that high of a seed. I think a 16 seed beat a 1 seed a few years ago. I may be completely wrong on that, but they are the Cinderella team, unfortunately, to the demise of our beloved, if you're in Ohio, the beloved Ohio State Buckeyes. Unless you're a Michigan fan, in which case go to Michigan. But it doesn't really matter. I have people in my family that are Michigan fans, but they grew up in Michigan, so it makes sense. So you can't hate them. So they're family, unfortunately. But no, it's fine. It's my uncle. He's cool. But grew up in Michigan, so he has a past to like a terrible team. So that aside. Yeah, what else is going on? There's no, NASCAR started a little while ago. It's still weird to see, the new young guys driving the old cars of like the Jimmy Johnsons and the Jeff Gordons and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s and all that stuff. But it's the team cars, so it's weird. Other than that, I haven't really seen much in major sports besides like the NFL season starting and all that stuff, but and March Madness obviously. But yeah, good old sports talk that we got going on here. There's always going to be sports. There's always going to be more to cover. There's always going to be sports. There's always going to be more to cover, so yeah. And we're winding down here. It's already approaching the hour mark pretty quickly here. And like I said, that's the goal, is to be right around that 1 hour mark. Nothing more, nothing less. 1 hour exactly. 60 minutes on the dot. No, but it doesn't seem like it's been an hour, but time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Time flies when you're dropping the deuce. The deuce episode, not poop. Oh, okay, I'm overstepping the poop joke quota here. Yeah, it's about time to end it then. If I have to revert to poop jokes to fill time, I think that's enough content for one episode. But I need song files, song submissions to DavidDixonCreative@gmail.com. I have a little bit of a library started, but I need as many as I can get to provide a variety of musical taste, of genres, to spruce up the show a little bit. So if you or someone is in a band that would like to submit to the show, are to submit to Spotify, but I need mostly the files and permission. I'll do both for you. But yeah, so also, like I said, yeah, DavidDixonCreative@gmail.com for all submissions. Follow the podcast on social media. It's on Instagram at Dixon's Mostly Music PC. It's also a Twitter under the same handle, but I haven't done literally anything with that one yet. So follow it, don't follow it. I don't really care about the Twitters. I'm not really part of the Twitter sphere. I don't twit. But yeah, so that, and then my Facebook page, my artist page, is the main thing, and that's David Dixon Creative. So it's facebook.com/DavidDixonCreative to get the full encompassing experience, I guess, of my mind. So, and then I'm also working on somewhat of like a website, like a blog site type of thing, like a WordPress or something, but that's way down on the list of priorities for right now. So that's probably a while off, but working on that, especially once we get more episodes rolling here, to have a place to have it all organized, I guess. But yeah, go shout out MainMan Band. Tell them that we want them to come back and make more music. Go listen and support Scarlet Serenity and I Am Abomination. And yeah, guys, last episode I said it was gonna be an every month type of thing, but it was just so much fun. We gotta do it more than that. So I'm gonna try to make it an every other week type of thing. So 2 episodes a month, basically. For multiple reasons, because not only is it fun, but also since this is a review-heavy show, it's turning out to be. Covering news and reviewing things that are a month old at that point seems kind of stale. Like it would be kind of, okay, yeah, we know what else is new. We're in a very what have you done for me lately type of society, so I think having more episodes per month so we can cover more recent news and things like that is probably a good move for the future. So I'm going to try to release them on Mondays, but either Monday or Tuesday, maybe even Wednesday, if depending on what's on the old schedule for that week. But so we're going to try to have a more frequent publishing strategy here. So I think that's going to do it for the Deuce episode number 2. And thank you guys so much for tuning in, no matter where you're tuning in from, what platform it's on. Shout out to Anchor.fm, my OG sponsor, I guess you could say, and also the platform that makes this podcasting and this podcast episode possible. And also shout out to my newest sponsor, RAZE Energy, RAZE Energy, and go to the code below in the description to pick up your sample pack, and be sure to use DDC15 at checkout to get your additional discounts, and it won't go through if you don't put that code on there, as far as I've been told. So, but all right, signing off here. And we will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.